Season 3, Episode 13 of Fire Force marks a turning point in the war between Company 8 and the White-Clad, as the veil between reality and Adala begins to tear apart completely. The episode opens in the suffocating depths of the Nether, symbolizing how close humanity is to being consumed by its own hidden truths. The underground setting is not just physical, it represents the buried secrets of the evangelist and the approaching great cataclysm. Shinra Kusakabe senses the presence of something far greater than a standard infernal. His connection to Adala pulses like a second heartbeat, signaling that destiny is drawing near. The arrival of Haumia before the blazing Adala portal shifts the tone from battle to revelation. She stands calm, almost serene, as if chaos itself answers to her. When she declares the awakening of another pillar, the audience understands that this fight is not simply about defeating an enemy. It is about preventing the restructuring of reality itself. The mechanical infernal that rises is a horrifying blend of science and faith, representing the fusion of human ambition and divine manipulation. Its grotesque armor symbolizes how humanity's technology has been twisted into a weapon for apocalyptic prophecy. Arthur's bravery in charging forward reflects his unwavering belief in heroism. While others hesitate, he sees battle as destiny. His plasma blade cutting through darkness serves as a metaphor for blind faith confronting overwhelming odds. Yet, it is Shinra who becomes the true centerpiece of the episode. When he experiences the sudden Adala link, time itself seems to freeze. The transition into the red-hued vision realm underscores how fragile reality has become. Seeing Sho and his mother within Adala reminds Shinra and the audience that the cataclysm is personal. It is not an abstract apocalypse. It is a tragedy that has already stolen his family. Sho's words during the vision echo the evangelist's philosophy: destruction as rebirth. This ideology represents nihilism disguised as salvation. Shinra's refusal to accept that sacrifice is necessary marks his growth as a hero. In earlier seasons, he fought to prove he was not a devil. Now, he fights to redefine what salvation means. His flames shifting to pure white signify spiritual awakening. White fire, hotter and rarer than ordinary flames, symbolizes hope refined through suffering. The climactic strike Shinra, moving at near light speed, demonstrates how far he has surpassed his former limitations. This is not merely physical speed, but a symbolic breaking of fate's chains. Arthur's stunned reaction highlights that Shinra has entered a realm beyond human comprehension. The destruction of the infernal in a burst of blinding white light visually mirrors the idea that hope can obliterate even engineered despair.
When Shinra returns to reality, the battle resumes in spectacular fashion. Arthur notices immediately that something has changed. Shinra moves with impossible velocity, his devil's footprints carving streaks of white light across the battlefield. The animators emphasize weightlessness, portraying him as a comet cutting through engineered despair. Each strike against the infernal cracks its armored plating, exposing a glowing core that mirrors the Adala portal behind it. The symbolism is clear. To stop the cataclysm, Shinra must strike at its heart. With a final surge of power, he channels every ounce of belief into a single blazing kick, piercing the core and detonating the infernal in an explosion of radiant white flame. The blast does not feel destructive. It feels cleansing. For a brief moment, silence follows. The white-clad altar crumbles, and Haumia watches with unsettling serenity before dissolving into flickering light. Her calm expression implies that this confrontation was merely one movement in a much larger symphony of annihilation. The episode closes together, battered but unbroken, watching the horizon glow. The rising sun resembles the idolosphere seen in visions, beautiful yet ominous. Tamaki voices cautious relief, but Shinra's expression remains contemplative. He understands now that strength alone will not end this war. Belief will. The key moments of this episode revolve not around spectacle, but conviction. Arthur's courage, Tamaki's compassion, Haomia's unwavering faith in destruction, and Shinra's refusal to surrender to prophecy, all intertwined to define the thematic core. Fire in this episode serves as dual symbolism capable of annihilation or illumination. Shinra's white flames represent hope refined through suffering, a beacon against predetermined doom. As the camera lingers on the sunrise, the narration leaves viewers with a powerful realization. The Great Cataclysm is not simply a physical event, but a battle of ideologies. And in episode 13, hope burns brighter than ever before. The Awakening of the Armored. Infernal marks the episode's first explosive turning point. Unlike previous Infernals, this one is fused with mechanical plating, wires, and reinforced core systems, symbolizing humanity's technological arrogance merging with apocalyptic prophecy. It is not simply a monster. It is engineered extinction. As Arthur launches forward without hesitation, plasma blade blazing, his charge represents unwavering conviction. He frames the battle as a knight's duel against darkness, grounding the cosmic stakes in personal valor. Yet despite his strength, the Infernal adapts quickly, firing concentrated thermal beams that force Company 8 into defensive formation. Tamaki shielding civilians amid falling debris reinforces the show's emotional foundation. The Fire Force exists to protect life, even when the world seems bent on self-destruction. The animation crescendos with blazing arcs of orange and blue clashing violently, but the true shift occurs when Shinra suddenly freezes mid-attack. The Adala Link overtakes him and the world drains into crimson silence. Inside the Adala vision, time feels suspended. Shinra stands in a vast red expanse where the laws of physics dissolve into memory and emotion. He sees his mother smiling gently, and Sho, standing distant yet connected by invisible flame. This vision is not merely sentimental. It represents the core of Shinra's motivation. Sho's calm assertion that the world must burn to be reborn echoes the evangelist's doctrine, forcing Shinra to confront the philosophical heart of the conflict. Is destruction inevitable? Is suffering required for evolution? The red void pulses like a living entity, as if Adola itself is listening. Shinra's refusal becomes the defining moment of the episode. Instead of accepting fate, he declares that the future will not demand sacrifice. His flames erupt brighter than ever before, shifting from fiery orange to blinding white. White fire, hotter and purer, symbolizes transformation through resolve. In that instant, Shinra transcends fear not just of the enemy, but of destiny itself. When Shinra returns to reality, the battle resumes in spectacular fashion. Arthur notices immediately that something has changed. Shinra moves with impossible velocity, his devil's footprints carving streaks of white light across the battlefield. The animators emphasize weightlessness, portraying him as a comet cutting through engineered despair. Each strike against the Infernal cracks its armored plating, exposing a glowing core that mirrors the Adala portal behind it. The symbolism is clear. To stop the cataclysm, Shinra must strike at its heart. With a final surge of power, he channels every ounce of belief into a single blazing kick, piercing the core and detonating the Infernal in an explosion of radiant white flame. The blast does not feel destructive. It feels cleansing. For a brief moment, silence follows. The white-clad altar crumbles,